Okay, I'm still working on the importing code. And I feel like I'm making progress, but it's not importing. Other than the fact that it's not importing. So if I just drag in this block, this block has a reference to one of these samples. I'm not sure which one it is. But if I just drag in the block and say import, then it should understand that there's a reference to one of these samples and also import the sample as well, even though I didn't explicitly import the sample. So, for example, this block has a reference to this sample within the file data, then importing just this and importing the block and the sample would have exactly the same effect, because the block should just detect that this sample is a dependency of the block. Anyway, so what the situation at the moment is, I do import. No, it hits a breakpoint because I put. Anyway, I do import, and then it successfully imports the sample, so it's that one, I guess. But it doesn't create the block, or at least it's not appearing in the browser. So B013, so it's this one that it has a dependency on. So let me just restart, just so it's a clean start. So let's see what's going on. So import. So create block if it doesn't exist. ID. So this ID is the new ID that I've generated for the block, and the ID within the file is 837. So this is not failing, otherwise it would have been reporting an error. So this all seems to be working, but it just doesn't appear in the block browser afterwards. So block, reload the block. Sure, okay. Okay. I don't know what the problem is. There's no add block. So, no, and then I load block, right. So I should do this if I continue. Oh, it didn't. Ah, okay. It did not do that. Oh, it does that. Oh, I already missed it because it does that here. Right, but it should load at least. And then... Ah, okay, so what do I need to do in here? Sample block, try load. So, yes. It should get to this point at some point. Okay, I'm going to do a clean test again by restarting. This one, 837, bang. So go in here, and then in. Alright, so that's happening. It sees that it's a sampler. Yeah, I don't care about this then. Okay, we get here. And then this is the new sample, which shouldn't exist yet, I assume. So let's see what happens. Okay, it doesn't exist, so we create the sample. This part is working because we saw the sample appear. So it's successfully loading the sample from the zip file. So that's all fine. And then we do set sample, which is fine. I don't. The only problem seems to be that it's not appearing in the block browser. So why would that be? I don't even know. what triggers the block browser to rebuild. Well, let me do a little test actually. Let me just check something. Import the block. So the sample imported. If I apply a filter, right, so it's just not rebuilding the, so the block is importing, it's successfully importing, okay. So, what is it that triggers that? Let me see. There's no like on block added event. On block. There's nothing. What is it that actually triggers that list to rebuild? Rebuild. Block browser rebuild. The name changed or the folder changed? Oh, am I not loading this stuff then? Or maybe it just doesn't change. I'm not sure I understand actually. The name changed or the folder changed. Or a block is erased. Blocks were added or removed. Exactly. Blocks were added or removed. What is this? The only time this happens is in clear blocks. Okay, fine. Let's just put it in here. So it's just like a coincidence that up until now, I've never had to explicitly update the block browser when a block is added, because up until now, every time a block is added, it just sort of worked out that one of the other triggers would have hit because it was loading the block in a certain way. One of the other triggers would have caused the block browser to update. So here we go. Drag this here. In fact, let's drag all of them. Now it's loading all these samples, and it still didn't work. There they are. Why did it still not work, I wonder? Why did that still not work? That's odd, actually. Hold on. What the heck is happening? This is not what I expect. I think the block browser is not even visible. Okay, this didn't hit, first of all, so that's weird. That doesn't actually make sense. It's not returning early. This doesn't make sense. This doesn't make any sense. What am I feel like I'm being dumb. Do this. At some point. This is false. And it's been set to true. So at some point it should get here. And now it's false. That's quite bizarre. So it must be it's being reset at some point. Work effects, it gets reset here. I don't know. This is very odd. Doesn't get reset anywhere else. This is very strange. So here it gets reset to false because it just resets this entire data structure. So that's going to happen over and over and over again. Right. So here it gets set to true. And then here it was true when it oh wait, what? I'm confused. Triggers to process triggers. Oh, what is this doing? I don't know what this is doing actually. Triggers to process. Yeah, I can't do it like that. That doesn't make any sense. Well, what I could do is but then it's just always going to do it. I would need to reset it. This is just nonsense what I'm doing here. What am I... This is just written in a silly way. As usual, my own code is just biting me in the ass. I only have myself to blame here. Oh. Do this. Okay, that would work, I think. At least. At least that would work, yeah. Oh, really, this should be a bit mask, not a boolean, but I only have one possible trigger right now. So a boolean is as good as a bit mask. So this should work. Let me delete all my breakpoints. Import. Ha ha ha. Okay, let's do some testing. So, what have I broken? Okay, so I had to refactor some stuff. So the way that like blocks are created and loaded during just like normal program usage is different now, because I try to make the import and I try to refactor things a little bit so that I wasn't copy pasting code. Okay, so what's going on here? Missing data. Missing data for 1095. So it's the instance data that is missing, actually. So what have I done wrong here? This model doesn't contain instance data for 1095. Apparently. Add new breath. What is this? This is wrong, surely. This is not going to be the same right ID, right? 1045. Oh, that's a block ID. And this would be 1095, would it? So it should, at this point, contain the data that it needs. But it's... Try get blink block instance. Okay, I don't know what's going on. Let's put a breakpoint here and see what happens. Is this just the imported block that was broken, or is it just anything? Anything that's broken. No. Everything's broken. Okay. Okay, that's good. So it's nothing to do with the importing stuff, it's just the little refactor that I had to do. Okay, so let's see what's going on. So do this. Now what's going on? So we already have created a block. Add new. This is going to be really annoying to step into, isn't it? Okay. Function index is 4. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Zero, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops. I've done something wrong. Effects back 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. Manipulate start. The order of these is very crucial. Manipulate start tempo. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. I understand. I'm using like an enum value as an index into a table of function pointers just for performance reasons, because there's some places where that is actually relevant. Not here, but somewhere else. Yeah, this makes sense. Okay, I see the error. Okay. To do this, then we add some modulation data. Then get another one. Do like that. Let's export this. In fact, no, let's save this as a project. Call it test 3. Create a new project, import test 3. So we have 2 sample blocks with 2 samples. Let's just drag these in. Import. What happened? Oh. Wait, no, these are... Wait, what? I'm confused now. What happened? I need to watch that back to see what happened. Hold on, let's do it again. That was interesting. I do need to reset this dialog, obviously. I don't trust this at all. Let's do it again. When I press import, the dialog should reset. Right, so I have block 971, block 972. I drag this in. 972 disappeared. Whoa. That's cool. I don't know why that's happening. 972 disappeared. That's interesting. It's going to be something to do with... Oh, right, the IDs. Oh, I need to register IDs. Right. Yeah. Okay. Let's get MS Paint, and if anyone is watching these videos, I know some people do. I'll explain what's happening. It's quite cool, actually, the bug here. In my opinion, this is an interesting bug. So what's happening? I have this like ID generator. It's just a singleton that exists in the project. It's like a global service which just starts with the number 1. And every time you request a new ID, it just adds 1. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. So I use this ID generator to generate IDs for basically everything in Blockhead. So everything has a unique ID. So you might end up with like an object with ID 500 or 50 or whatever, or ID 51, ID 52 maybe. And then you might save those things into a project file. So they sort of exist in the project file. And then you have a new project, and hold on, I'm trying to think what is the problem here. Oh yeah, no, yeah. So now I have a new project, and I might have a new project, and I start generating more objects in my new project. And I might have like ID 30, and then 31, and then 32. So the state of the ID generator is at 32. It's generated 32 IDs so far. And then I import these objects from the file. And in fact, when I import, because I could be importing from multiple files, and maybe I have 2 files which have the same IDs, so I have ID conflicts. So actually I go through all of the IDs that are all of the objects that are being generated from these files that I'm importing from, and I actually generate new IDs for all of these. So, and I base the new IDs on my current ID generator. So when I start generating new IDs for these things that I'm importing, I'm going to basically generate 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. And then, so I replace those old IDs with the new ones. And then I generate my new objects with these new IDs. So now I'm up to 38. Now I'm up to 38. So what's the problem? I don't actually see what the problem is now that I've illustrated it. What I thought was the problem is we're ending up with this is a problem I've had in the past, where we're ending up with the ID generator, the global ID generator is at a particular state, but we somehow ended up with an object with an ID like 50, but the ID generator is only at 32. So then I generate a new object, or to better illustrate what I think the bug is, we somehow end up with an object that exists in the project with an ID 33. But the ID generator is still at 32. So then I generate a new object using the UI, and the ID generates 33. So that goes into here. But we already had an object with 33, so it just sort of disappears, I suppose. The best case scenario would be that it crashes, but it looks like something more spooky is happening. So basically I have this function on the ID generator called register ID, like that. And you pass it a value, and it would just update the ID generator. So if you pass it 50, oh my god, I can't type. If you pass it 50, then it would just update the ID generator to be at 50, and then it will continue generating IDs from there. So I think that's what's happening, but I don't see why it's happening in this situation actually. So let me try and track that down. I'm not yeah, I don't understand why that would be happening in this situation, because when I generate new IDs, I generate import IDs here. I'm using the ID generator to do this. See, make ID. So this is just generating, this is the ID generator. It's really, really simple. That's literally just it. This is all the code. And this is just for like validation purposes. This seems okay. This is the register ID I said. So it's like when you're importing from a file, I say this file has an object with ID 50. So just register it. Make sure if it's greater than your current state, then just update the current state to be there, and it's all fine. So why would there be an issue here then? I think this is what's going on, but I don't know why. So let me try and understand what's happening. Let me just see what's going on. Yeah. So import, in fact, let's put a breakpoint here. Import this. So this and this. So 837 and 884 are the IDs of these objects in the file, but I'm not going to use those IDs. I'm going to update them to new IDs in case of conflicts. So that happens in here. So this 884, we generate a new ID, 886. and then 837 as a new ID 887. Okay. That should all be fine. That should all be fine. So we generated 887. Do we generate any more IDs? Oh, we're going to load the samples as well, right? So at some point we 888. This is now. Why is it loading block instances? Oh yeah, there were yeah, because it's a project file, so there's block instances as well. So this is fine. This should be 2, right? Then we get to 890. So the last one that's generated was 889. Okay. Yeah. Now this is the samples, is it? Yes. So 890 and then 891. Then continue. Now what's it? Oh, the sample data as well also has IDs, yeah. 892, 893. And now what? Oh yeah, input, yeah, oh yeah, all this stuff has to IDs generated. So the lanes, the tracks, the workspaces, 900. There should be 3 workspaces. 901, 902. So the last one we generated was 901. Okay, now it's actually loading those objects. And we're still using the ID generator for more stuff. We're using it for the waveform objects. And then parameters. Okay, so it's going to use it for a bunch of stuff. So that's not actually useful, just stepping through and seeing what it is. But let's see what happens here. So sample block 886 and 887 is going to disappear, is it? As soon as I place this. It hasn't disappeared yet. But when I place this, why would that happen? Because the ID generator is currently at 945. So why would that? Yeah, it just disappears. That's so weird. So I don't think that's got anything to do with anything. No, I don't understand. Don't understand. Oh, let's see here. Put browser. How do we do this exactly? Rebuild. What is the bug? I'm not convinced that the bug is what I think the bug is now. So what's happening here? One block, 886. It's just one block. There's one block. Okay, that's... So a block must be being erased somehow. It doesn't make sense. It really doesn't make sense. Erase block. How is a block being erased? That doesn't make sense. Can I reproduce this just without doing an import, maybe? Get rid of all these breakpoints. Whoops, I just added another one. 837, 857. No, if I don't do an import, it's fine, it seems. Everything just works the way you expect. It's only when you do an import that weird stuff starts happening. There's two places where blocks get erased. In erase block and in, right beneath it, clear blocks. This is the only time a block gets erased. So what is going on? Let's see. Import to both blocks. Then we do that, and then we do that. Erase block. Wow. Why am I doing that? It must be. Hold on now. Is it happening here if it fails to load? Collect blocks. Maybe it's doing this. I'm fascinated. I can't wait to find out the answer to this. This is fascinating to me. What on earth is happening? Ah. This is interesting. So 887 has been marked for deletion. 887 was marked for deletion. Let me remind myself of these IDs. Import. Eight 3 884 887. Yeah, that's the one that's disappearing, so it makes sense. Oh, I didn't notice. So in the brackets I have. Oh yeah, fucking it, that makes perfect sense. I didn't think of this. Everything's working exactly as programmed. There's no bug. It's just there's no bug. The bug is that I've designed it incorrectly. So it's a design bug, not a technical bug. Okay. So in brackets is the number of block instances that currently exist in the workspace for this block. And obviously the workspace doesn't have anything on it yet. Or that currently exists in the project, I should say. The project is completely empty. And so it both says in brackets 0 because there's 0 instances. And as soon as you do anything, or certain operations, Bucket just runs a garbage collection to check if there's any blocks that do not have any instances currently. And if there are, then it will just delete them. But there's a bunch of rules that prevent it from being deleted, even if they have 0 instances. And it's actually right here. So here we go. If the instance count is 0, then it would delete. If it doesn't have a custom name, if it has a custom name or a custom folder, then it won't be deleted. So it's easy. I'm just going to, when you import a block, I'm going to put it into a custom folder automatically. The folder can be named imported or something like that. That makes sense. Yeah, that's perfect. So how do I do that? This is, yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy with this. This is cool. So at what point do I set the custom folder? Let me think about that. At what point do I set the custom folder? I'm not sure. Let me think. Why is it complaining? It's not constant, is it? Is that constant? Yes, it is. Why am I even doing move anyway? Doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. Okay. Yeah, I'm just thinking where logically it makes sense to set the folders for the blocks. And it's just the blocks that have this issue. Nothing else I have to worry about. So, yeah. I guess it would be... here? Also, if it does have a folder, because you can export, maybe the block does have a folder that the user set when the object file was saved. Should I just keep that folder, or should I prepend an imported folder to the front of it? I guess I just keep the folder. So let's see. Create block if doesn't exist. Okay. Yes. I was just thinking I could set this up somewhere else. Is there any other situation where this is going to be... No, there isn't. It's just in importing. So it makes sense to do this here. Okay. Right. How do I do this? So... for block in item model blocks, but I have to go slim get table slim block. This is a load of immutable data structure nonsense. That's why this code looks so weird. It's because I'm using immutable data structures, which are not like a language feature in C++, which they really need to be if if you want them to be reasonable. Okay. Error type. I need to go to the toilet. So that's just because I need to do that. One sec. Okay. Block folder. if block folder. Oh, am I still using optional for this? I really want to update that to not use optional because it's with strings, because it doesn't make any sense. Shall I make that change now? It doesn't make sense. Right, let's do it. This is going to break a bunch of other code, but it's fine. I don't care. Because obviously a string just has an empty function. So if there's no folder, then if this block is imported, then it's immediately going to be erased as soon as you do anything because of the garbage collection thing. So I need to set the folder to imported like that. And then blocks. How do I update it then? I think add block data. Item model block. Is that const? Yeah, it is. Okay, model, item model, like that. And this should overwrite the entry, right? Update. That should do it. Okay, this is fine. This doesn't make sense. I'm looping through all the blocks for an individual block item rather than just... Okay, what am I supposed to do, sorry? I'm supposed to... We'll say block equals... at item ID. Which could fail. In which case this would throw an exception, which I don't want. So this is exactly the kind of place I should do error checking because it's the kind of stuff that will break if I don't write it correctly. So this is going to return null pointer, yeah. So if we didn't find it, then let's just report an error. Send fail to import block. Yeah, that's a good enough error message that Copilot generated there. Block not found in model. Okay. Otherwise, okay. We say, oh, this is going to return const, isn't it? Updated. Oh, hold on. If block folder empty updated block equals block. Okay, I think that makes sense. Is that right? Seems okay. So this should never fail. So this is basically an exceptional circumstance, but I'm just reporting the error straight away instead and returning. Okay, so now I've got loads of errors because I changed from using optional. So if not empty, no, it doesn't even matter, does it? It should just be custom name equals block custom name. So it should just be block custom name. So that's much simpler. What's happening? Okay. And now again, try load. Okay. So they should automatically get put into a folder called imported. There we go. And so when I do this, that won't be garbage collected because it's in a folder. Cool. That's really good. So that has the automation, and this one also has the automation. There we go. Cool, it's working. Also, let's try. Let's make another sort of block. Whatever, and then let's try going export block. So just export this one block into here to output test. Also, this, I don't think it makes any difference right now. I think even if this is unchecked. So I need to make a note of that. This button I'm going to remove entirely because, oh look, that's overlapping incorrectly. Because I don't want to deal with that yet. So, yeah, okay, export. And now let's import. Again, I need to clear out this dialog when I click the button. So import from here. Which one was it? I'm not sure. Let's sort by most recent. I hate how Windows switches to this. Most recent is 887. Open. There it is. There's the block inside the file. Import. And it gave it a new ID, and it has 0 instances. Here it is, right there. Wow. Then I can remove the folder if I want to. And if I delete both of these, then it hits my breakpoints. But yeah, as soon as I clear this, it should... Oh, it doesn't do a garbage collection straight away. It gives you a chance. But then as soon as you delete... There we go, everything's working so far. So I still need to do track import and a workspace import. This is all going swimmingly.